What is going on, everyone? Average player here. I've done my little investigations into looking into what could be wrong with this deck and a couple things that I think could be changing, because unfortunately there's a little bit of a struggle with me in the Fluwanderese matchup. Last time I went to my locals, which was actually the day that I posted the video, or something close to that, the last one. And then I also had a problem with that was basically just Fluwanderese, and also basically running out of cards in my extra deck and being able to break boards. Going second was kind of tough, especially if they negate Fallen Albaz. So the way the deck has been made now, it's a little bit bigger, right? I think it's like an additional 1 to 2 cards bigger than it was beforehand. The side deck changed a little bit to put an additional couple cards in there. Cards that are going to help me break boards, also while having cards that allow me to go second and stay going first if I need to. Whole bunch of other stuff. But like normal, we start off with the main deck, then we're going to the side deck. We're going back to my old format where I go through monsters, whatever's left, additional cards that aren't part of the archetype, or directly labeled the archetype. And then hand traps, archetype spells, archetype traps, and then other traps. Alright, and hand traps, like infinite impermanence, go in the hand trap section. But we're going with 3 Alibur, 1 Quem, 2 Cartesia, 1 Tragedy this time. Last time I made the deck profile, I either had 1 or 2 Tragedies, maybe 3. I think I had 2 or 3 Tragedies instead of 1. And then I kept on opening them, and it was kind of bad, and I always sided them out, so I was like, what can I do? Right, Tragedy itself is a very strong card, especially when you Gold Sark it away. But I feel like if you play Gold Sark, you don't need to play Foolish. If you play Foolish, you don't need to play Gold Sark, because this is just sent to the graveyard to banish by card effect. It gets its effect. So you can Foolish it or Gold Sark it. So it's basically, 2 copies of the card with Foolish or Gold Sark. But I don't think you should play more than 1 of that. The only other thing I can think of is if you play Foolish, you can always have a card for Quem in your graveyard, just so you can access Quem lines. But Quem gets you that anyway, so I don't know why you would want to play Foolish Gold Sark, because it's just a little bit better. 3 Fallen Albaz. And then 3 other cards whose names are also Fallen Albaz, but Albion is Albion. One of the best normal summons in the deck, especially if you're going second. You normal summon Albaz, Fuse. This is a dump a branded card to the graveyard, and then put it to the bottom of the deck, draw a card, so the card is insane. When I was playing at locals, though, that card didn't draw me into anything. So then we're going to go Mercurier and Kit. Kit does come up, actually, for recycling back from your banish to your deck. So if you run out of your branded fusions, then you can always recycle it. Or if you need one of your branded cards, recycle it back to your deck. And then 2 Bestials, 1 Lubellion, 1 Serenir. That's about it. The only other thing I can think of is, having a Magnamut on board. Right? Summoning Magnamut on your opponent's turn if they're going first, and then being able to grab a Lubellion, a Serenir, or Fallen Albaz or something like that, right? Other than that, I don't see Magnamut really being a good card in this deck. And then the one card that I'm always ashamed of playing. But I'm throwing hand traps back in here because I feel like I did need to see them, but it's just going to be Ash and 1 called by. So I feel like that's basically it. This is what I needed to see. That's what I needed. It's not as good against Flu, but if you hit the pot card, then you're generally fine. Or if they normal summon Robina, then you're fine unless they have a way to chain block that Robina. But also Ash hurts against a whole bunch of other decks. I just felt like I was missing the presence of hand traps because I was playing a no hand trap build last time. So I understand the Serenir's a hand trap, but I'm counting him as an engine piece and not hand trap. Branded cards. For the spell cards, at least 3 opening, 3 fusion, 1 lost, 2 red, 1 high spirits, 1 regained. And this actually didn't change at all. If it were up to me, there'd be 2 high spirits in here, because it's a good way to get access to Quem or be able to get a card out on your board that you might need at that time. Like you can get Fallen Albaz or something like that. So It doesn't special summon, it adds it to your hand, but still, it's able to search basically whatever you want. Fallen Albazar card that mentions it. Every card in your deck is Fallen Albazar mentions it in some way, except Lubellion and Serenir. That's it. And, yeah. And it's always a monster, so, like, the monsters all except for the Alibur, Tragedy, and that's it. All the other ones mention it. I'm not playing Adlib, if you guys noticed. I'm gonna try to build without it. It did come up against one flu match, but I also never really saw the card, so I took it out. 3 fusion deployment. 2 super poly. 1 duality. This is for the rest of the cards that are like extras. Alright, 3 fusion deployment, 2 super poly. I always said I was trying to veer away from super poly, but it is way too good right now with the way decks are to not play. 1 Gold Sark, as I've been talking about it with Tragedy, and 1 Thrust. So Thrust has come out of my side into my main deck, because you do get hand trapped. You can Thrust and set Gold Sark, deployment, duplication, whatever it is that you might need. Also other cards in your side deck that you have access to that could be normal spells or normal traps. So we'll get into that in a minute. But then Branded Retribution as our last trap card for that, and then duplication that you guys already saw. Now the extra deck is a little different now. I'm going to tell you guys that there's some cards you could definitely change and take out and play something different. It's not always... Everybody's extra deck could be a little different. Everybody's main deck is always going to be different. But, yep, let's go. 2 Albion, regular guy. 1 Lubellion, 2 Mirror Jade, 1 Masquerade, 1 Quertus, 1 Proskenion. Now I feel... Okay, and I'm going to explain Proskenion real quick instead of just trying to fly through. 1 Despia monster plus 1 light monster plus 1 dark monster. Alright, during the main phase, quick effect, target 1 Fusion, Synchro, Xe, or Link monster in your opponent's graveyard. Banish it or special summon it to your field. And I feel like that's good, because if you're playing against another branded deck, you could banish one of the fusion monsters from their graveyard, especially if they're trying to get it back with their ad lib, or they're trying to banish it away for a fusion summon. So you could do that. Or if they have a card like SP, you could summon it to your field. The other positive is that with decks like Fire Kings and Snake Eyes requiring Promethean Princess, this card, when Promethean Princess uses its effect to try to pop 2 and summon, you can use this to banish Promethean or summon it to your field. So I'd probably recommend banishing it. So this card's good. Also helps you if you have Shifter, but this deck doesn't play Shifter. But banish it. Banish that Promethean Princess or whatever, and it's a quick effect during the main phase, so very good. 1 card that should be banned, Albion the Sanctifier Dragon. Predaplant Dragostapelia. Rhinebrum, Gangrenal, Muddragon, Garura, and Guardian Chimera. Muddragon, Garura, obviously the super poly targets. Gang is here for obvious reasons. Yeah. But unfortunately, most of your cards in your extra deck are either light or dark. So depending on what combo line you're going through, and summon Muddragon, use this effect to change into a light or a dark. So then all your cards can't be targeted. So that's like why we don't play poly in here, because if you change it to a dark and you summon Guardian Chimera can't be targeted. No Imperm, no Veiler, no Mourner, nothing. So, and then it also becomes a dark type, so it also can't be targeted itself. So it's pretty cool. Side deck, 3 triple attack has been staying the same. This time we got 3 Nibiru. I found my 3rd Nibiru. It's the MBT one. 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, 3 Judgment. And then I thought about this, 2 Forbidden Droplet, and then 1 Brightest Blazing. So Droplet, in my opinion, well, Brightest Blazing, Duster, attack, Lightning Storm, or dust targets, right? And this card is also searchable in all multiple other ways. But Droplet, right? So activating a card like Lightning Storm or Harpy's Feather Duster, and then using Droplet to get rid of multiple cards to negate something, negate whole boards. This is also one of the cards I put in against Flu, but it's also very good against Snake Eye. So you can negate their whole board so they can't link summon anything away, especially if you use a monster. Then they can't respond to it with a monster. I would generally probably send a spell, so they can't respond to it with spells. So, yeah, I try to make this deck profile as fast as possible and explain everything, because it is a little bit of a change, a little bit of a rendition from what it was last time. But I feel like it's a good change, something for the better, to be honest. There will be a combo tutorial of this deck coming out sometime soon, but I'll let you guys. I won't let you guys know when that comes out. I can't. I mean, I could in the community tab, but who really pays attention to that? But there will be a combo tutorial coming out probably within the next week, as I do start a new job. So we will definitely see. It's going to be a little rough for the next little bit about me uploading videos, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a good day.